Alright everyone, I'm back with another board game. This time we're doing it a little differently. I lost my cameraman, but that's okay. We will overcome and adapt. But tonight we're going to talk about The Last Spike. I actually played this for the first time tonight here in my board games class, but I really enjoyed it and I thought it was fun, so I thought I'd give it a good old review here. The name of the game is The Last Spike, and it is an area control and money game. However, it is a randomized area control game, and we'll go over that when I talk about the mechanics. What comes in the box are obviously going to be your main board game, which is all here. It's got nice little information on it. What you can do on your turn, has indications for every city, and then it actually corresponds to the tiles. And then the tiles here are your little bits of railroad that you want to lay down, and then they have their corresponding areas. So if I can find Y3 here, that goes there. And then in addition to the tiles and the board, you also get your land cards, where you kind of buy your real estate, or as some of us in the class were calling it, rail estate. Pardon me for the awful pun, but I had to say it. And you also get your money, your nondescript, just colored money tokens here as well. And again, your board's really nice and indicates for you what that money is worth to you. And that is, of course, in the thousands, because we're dealing with a railroad. Who would really pay $1 for a section of railroad? Anyways, moving on. So the object of this game is to build the transcontinental railway, or at the very least, partially transcontinental, because we're only going from the Midwest and St. Louis to Sacramento, California, instead of, coast to coast. But the object of the game, as I said, is to, by any means necessary, connect Sacramento to St. Louis. The players start out with 4 random tile pieces, and I don't know if this velvet bag comes with the game or if it's something that my professor and his wife personally bought separate, but all the tiles are placed in this bag, and you reach in and you randomly grab out 4. So then you place those in front of you and you know what you have for the game. So once you have all 4 of your tiles, so we'll just grab 4 of these from here, even though I drew out 4. We'll just have these 4, sit in front of us here. So then you know your 4 that you have. Now, how you play is you can place 1 tile on a turn, and you can buy a plot of land on a turn. So you can actually, when you place, so this is V3, let me find, so this is D1. If you have D1, you are able to place it here at Omaha. Now, D1, since that is a connector directly to a city, you only have to pay $5,000. But say I wanted to place this U3 up here on the Southern Pass between Ogden and Laramie, I would actually have to pay $10,000 to be able to put that one there, because it's not connected to anything. And it's double the cost if you're not connecting a piece of railroad, because it's kind of weird just to have a, random piece of railroad sitting out there. So, once D1 has been placed, then you have the opportunity to take this Omaha land card. This one doesn't have a cost, which is really nice. The first one on every single pile does not have a cost at all, if you can see. So then I would take this land card, and I have that in front of me now. So these first top ones have to be taken by someone who places on either side of the initial city. Any of the 4s or the 1s, or etc. And they need to be taken by that person. Now you can choose not to if you really don't want to, but it's smart to do so because it's free money. What'll happen is these cities will pay out. So once you connect Omaha to Denver, or Omaha to St. Louis, or Omaha to Laramie, that city will pay out. So I have a card. I have a singular card for Omaha, so I will get $7,000 from having that D1 placed on the field. And that's basically how it goes. Clockwise around the board between different players, and everyone will place 1 tile on their turn, and then potentially take the first card of a pile, or they will buy off of a pile that has already been exposed. You don't have to have a section of tile near the city to be able to buy for that city, which is quite nice. You can win the game ultimately. Like I said, the object is to connect St. Louis to Sacramento. So you can actually go from St. Louis to Dodge City to El Paso to Yuma to Sacramento, or you can do any combination, so long as it happens. So going back to how you play a turn, you place a tile, you take a land card, or you buy a land card, and then you actually draw a new piece. So you always have 4 pieces until all of the tiles are gone out of this bag. And then basically it's just building the railroad across the board until it is down to the last spike. Now, the game's namesake, the last spike, when you place the last spike, you get an additional $20,000 in addition to all the money you got for payouts. So then, let's just say this was our path. So St. Louis, Omaha, Laramie, Ogden, and Sacramento were where our connectors were. Say the last one to be placed was U3. So first of all, Ogden and Laramie would pay out, and everybody who had land there would get their appropriate land from those locations, and then we'd go from city to city. So then St. Louis actually also pays out, Omaha will actually also pay out, Ogden and Laramie already did, and then Sacramento will also pay out. So you could potentially have a bunch of money, but then once that last spike is placed in, someone who has land in St. Louis, Omaha, and Sacramento could potentially end up winning over you because they got more money. And on earning money, so you can have multiple copies of each card. Obviously, once you get further down the pile, it costs more and more to buy these land plots, but also there's a benefit to having multiple, because obviously the more land you own there, the more money you will get out of it. You win by having the most money, by having the most land cards in the strategic positions to get the payouts. Overall, this is a really fun game. It's an area control game, but it's an area control at random because you don't know what tile you're going to get when you reach in this bag. So it's all very, very random. It's really fun, and it's kind of frustrating because it's like, you know, you never know what someone's going to do. But it's a really easy and fun game to learn, and I think if you enjoy Monopoly at all and you don't want as much stress as Monopoly, because this game does not have any rent mechanic, so you don't have to worry about that, this would be a really good game to play.